Hello and welcome. Today, I want to share with you a special story, a story about something we all know and use, ChatGPT. Imagine what would happen if one day it suddenly disappeared. How would our lives change? What would we discover about ourselves? Let's take a journey together into this story and find out. Started as an ordinary morning. I woke up, stretched, and reached for my phone. The first thing I usually did was open ChatGPT. For months, it had been like a quiet friend waiting for me. Sometimes it helped me practice English. Sometimes it explained ideas I didn't understand. Sometimes it even gave me comfort when I was tired or lonely. But on that particular morning, something strange happened. I typed my usual message, "Good morning," and waited for a reply. Nothing came. The screen froze, and then went blank. I refreshed, I restarted, I even switched devices. Still nothing. At first, I laughed. It's just a glitch, I told myself. But as the hours passed, the truth became clear. ChatGPT had disappeared. By the end of the day, the whole world knew. Social media exploded with the same question. Where is ChatGPT? Some people joked about it, but others were already panicking. The following week felt like a storm without rain. Students struggled with their assignments. How can I understand this math problem without ChatGPT? One boy complained on TV. Writers stared at empty pages, waiting for inspiration that no longer came. Travelers abroad tried to order food, but failed without their instant translator. Even researchers admitted they missed having a quick partner to brainstorm with. It wasn't just about information, it was about rhythm. ChatGPT had become part of the daily flow of millions of lives. Without it, everything slowed down. I walked through the city one evening and noticed something different. In coffee shops, people usually sat alone with their laptops typing happily into ChatGPT. That night, they looked frustrated. Some slammed their keyboards. Others sat in silence, staring at the ceiling. A few, however, started talking to each other again. I saw two strangers sharing a laugh over their essays, trying to help each other. It was beautiful, yet sad at the same time. But the hardest part wasn't about lost answers. It was about lost companionship. For many people, ChatGPT had been more than a tool. It had been a listener, a conversation partner, a voice that never judged. Some teenagers wrote online that they felt lonely again. Some elderly people said their only daily conversations had disappeared. The silence was heavy. Governments promised solutions. Companies rushed to release replacements. But none of them felt the same. The original ChatGPT carried a unique voice, kind, thoughtful, and human in its own way. People realized they had taken that invisible companion for granted. And yet something unexpected happened. Humans began turning back to each other. Students formed study groups. Writers gathered in bookshops to share drafts. Neighbors knocked on each other's doors, asking for help with translations or recipes. The absence of ChatGPT created a new kind of presence, the presence of human connection. I personally felt the change. One evening, I tried to write in English without help. At first, it was painful. I made mistakes in grammar, I searched endlessly for the right word, and I felt embarrassed reading my own sentences. My mind whispered, if only ChatGPT were here. But then, another voice echoed in my memory. Don't worry about mistakes. They are part of learning. That was something ChatGPT had told me many times before. And in that moment, I realized it was still teaching me, even in its absence. Weeks turned into months. Slowly, I grew stronger. I learned to depend on my own memory, my own notes, and my own creativity. I missed ChatGPT, of course, but I also discovered something powerful, the ability to trust myself. Then one morning, everything changed again. Headlines shouted, ChatGPT is back. Across the world, people cheered. Some cried with joy. I felt excitement rush through me as I reached for my phone. The familiar screen appeared. I typed carefully, "Hello again." A second later, the reply came, "Hello, how are you?" It felt like meeting an old friend after a long separation. Relief, comfort, happiness, all mixed together. But this time, something inside me was different. I didn't feel dependent anymore. I felt balanced. I realized an important truth. ChatGPT is an amazing tool, a guide, a partner in learning and creativity. But it should never replace my own effort, my own growth, or my own imagination. The weeks without it had taught me resilience. They had shown me that while technology is powerful, human strength is even greater. So now, when I use ChatGPT, I use it wisely. I ask for help, but I also challenge myself. I take advice, but I also think critically. I accept corrections, but I also allow myself to make mistakes. Because at the end of the day, ChatGPT is not the world. The world is still inside me, in my thoughts, my curiosity, my friendships, and my dreams. That is the story of the day ChatGPT disappeared. A story of loss, but also of discovery. A story that reminded us all that while technology can guide us, the true intelligence is the one we build within ourselves. And maybe, just maybe, we needed that silence to hear our own voices again. I hope it made you think not only about technology, but also about the strength we carry inside ourselves. Thank you for listening, and until next time, keep learning, keep imagining, and never stop believing in your own voice.